Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Deggy again, and welcome back to another Disney Lorcana card of the day. Today's card of the day is none other than Rapunzel's infamous frying pan. Now, the frying pan is an item. It is a 2-cost steel card that is inkable, which again means that you can place it into your inkwell. It has a very simple effect. It's called Clang. You may banish this item, and then if you do, a chosen character, of your choice can't challenge during their next turn. Now, I do want to get out of the way because of how it's worded. You could technically target your own characters, although as of right now, it's April 24th. It's a Monday. I don't see why you would. I really don't see why you would want to target your own character. So you're going to be targeting your opponent's characters with this. Now, what does this mean? So if you have a frying pan in play, if it's good for, I guess, securing a win. What you can do is you can quest with a character, say, late into the game. You could have, we'll say Kristoff. Kristoff is another 2-cost character. Say you have 16 lore, and you don't really have any characters in play. You go ahead and you play Kristoff, or no, we'll say you already have Kristoff in play. Everybody else is gone. Kristoff has like 2 damage on it. He only has 1 willpower left. Your opponent only has 1 character in play that can challenge, right? You guys going back and forth. You have 16 lore, and you go ahead and quest with Kristoff. Now you have 18 lore. You know that on your next turn, if you quest with Kristoff, you will win. So you go ahead and you play Frying Pan, and you use Frying Pan's effect on your opponent's character. Now your opponent's character can't challenge Kristoff, and you've all but assured your win, unless your opponent has some sneaky rush characters or some direct removal. But as you know, on the board, you are threatening the victory. That's pretty good. That just in that scenario, that's pretty good. But that actually might happen a bit more than you think. It also could be not as one-sided or one-dimensional, I suppose, as that. Your opponent could have like 2 or 3 characters, but maybe only one of those characters has like 3 or more willpower, or I'm sorry, 3 or more strength that could take out your Kristoff in one hit. Well, you could just play your frying pan on that character, and your Kristoff, could possibly survive the attack from the other 2. It depends on the board, but you see the idea here. Frying Pan is kind of a 1-turn protection spell, especially if your opponent only has 1 character out on their side of the board. You're basically targeting your opponent's most scary character, I suppose, and saying, hey, that character can't quest. There are a lot of characters in Disney Lorcana which I believe are meant more for challenging. We see stuff like the Ruby Scar. That Scar is like on fire, and he has a really high strength for his cost. He only costs 4 resources, but he has 5 strength. And with that being said, he only has 1 lore. So he's not really meant for questing and gathering lore. I believe his design is meant more for challenging and like taking out your opponent's like really big characters, or their characters with high willpower. So you can use something like the frying pan on your opponent's, scars. There are other characters though, like Maleficent, the 1-cost Maleficent, the amethyst one. She has 2 lore at a really low cost, again, of only 1. She is obviously meant to quest. She is meant to get you as much lore as possible. So you wouldn't want to use Frying Pan on a character like that, because that character is never going to attack your characters. She only has 1 strength and 1 willpower. You can do some really sneaky plays with Frying Pan as well. If you, like, say I do quest with my Kristoff, and my opponent has 3 characters in play, and maybe 2 of my opponent's characters are 2 strength, 2 willpower, right? Just they're low cost characters. I could use my frying pan on my opponent's biggest character with a healthy Kristoff, again, for example, which would put my opponent in this unusual situation. Now, if they wish to banish my Kristoff, they would have to send both of their remaining characters into my Kristoff. And by doing so, my Kristoff is going to take out both of their characters. They're going to lose 2 characters at the cost of me losing only 1 character. But again, I guess I will be losing my frying pan. But I think that's a pretty good trade. So your opponent's like, oh, do I want to attack this Kristoff now and lose 2 of my win conditions on board, or do I simply wait a turn and then attack with my bigger character where I can do like a more favorable trade for me? And I think Frying Pan really allows you to have those types of opportunities. It's kind of, you can also think of it of, it's like allowing your characters to get 1 additional quest off, which if your characters have 2 or more lore, getting that extra quest off to get that additional lore is pretty good. You're definitely getting some value out of those characters when you're able to quest multiple times with them. Because there could be times, if we talk about that Maleficent, for example, your opponent's probably going to try to take out that Maleficent pretty early, so you don't keep getting all that really easy lore, I suppose, because she comes down so early. So you want to stop your opponent from gaining lore. You don't want them to run away. And, Frying Pan can really help you have your characters gain more lore if you're able to use it on certain opposing characters to stop them from challenging. It's pretty good. I like it. I really like the thematics of it, what it can or cannot do. I think it's definitely a 2 of right now. I think because games are very back and forth, it's just kind of like a pseudo protection. It's just one of those, hey, you can't attack with that character. That character can't challenge. You can either quest with it and get like 1 lore, or just have it sit there for a turn. But either way, my characters are going to be free to get me more lore. That's pretty good. I like that. I definitely would have put at least 2 of them into a steel deck. You probably could argue you could put 4. I know it sounds like quite a bit, but it is inkable. So if you feel like you don't need to play this card, just put it down into your inkwell. It's just a free resource, and that allows you to play the other cards that you have that might be more beneficial to the game state. However, I do feel that Frying Pan is pretty solid. I think it could be used at nearly, any point of the game. In my opinion, I think it's best used in the late game when, a key challenge might be the turning point for a game. You're able to use your Simba, to take out an opponent's 8-cost Mickey Mouse so they can't win the game. But, if you're playing like Ruby Steel and you have this card, you can be like, okay, I'm going to quest with my Mickey. I'm going to play Frying Pan and I'm going to target your Simba. And now your Simba cannot target my Mickey. And the Simba player is going to be like, oh no, what am I going to do now? Like, they're going to get the 4 lore on their next turn and win. So, yeah, it comes up. And I think just stopping someone from challenging is pretty solid. Again, it just basically allows you to get an additional quest off with a character, or a couple characters, who knows. So, overall, I really like it. I think this card can be used in a couple different ways. And I think it definitely has a place in steel decks. And I think a big reason is because it is inkable. So even if you don't find a way to use it, just put it down into your inkwell and you just got a free resource. So I'm gonna give it probably a solid 7 to 7.5 or so. I'd like to see a bit more cards before I give an official rating, but when I'm playing steel, I'm gonna put the Frying Pan in. I like it. I think it's a good card. Just messing up your opponent's plans and whatnot, I think is pretty good. So again, we'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, and it has its uses. So yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. Hey, thanks for watching. Listen, being there, listening to me ramble, it means a lot. I really appreciate it. So, stay tuned. I actually have some ideas for some deck profiles. I'm going to talk about some decks here in the future. So it's not always just going to be a card of the day every day. But anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Make good decisions. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.